So it is. Meeting will come to order. First on the agenda, a request for determination of applicability for 7 Pine Haven Lane. Do you have the public notice by any chance with you?
Came in today.
I never saw that. It's so hard to find them when you don't have the logo.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All
Is
right.
the plan?
This is the tree removal?
No. The place in riprap.
Rip here.
Okay. According to the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 4, the Wetlands Protection Act, there will be a hearing on a request for determination of applicability for the addition of riprap onto an existing stone slope to prevent erosion. Location of the proposed activity is 7 Pine Haven Lane, Lakeville. Said work is to occur within the 100-foot buffer zone of the wetland. Hearing be held. Lost my place. Will take place on January 22nd, 2019, starting at 7 p.m. Good luck.
Good evening. Zena Consulting Engineers for the record. We have a request for determination in front of you. The reason for the request is we're looking to do some temporary renovation while we certainly propose, for lack of a better word, single. I call it a farm wall, but it's a little odd. We're looking to do, in the coming future, we're going to be proposing a ready rock wall, going through Chapter 91 permitting for the change. And having gone through Chapter 91 many times and working with them currently now, they are taking their full 276 days and more. So in the interim, we'd like to place some stabilization, some additional riprap in a couple of spots. The most critical is the spot that I showed you where you can see some undermining of the roots. I only brought two and I apologize for that. The picture. While there's not any really super major issue going on there, the client does want to protect the slope and while we're working on and permitting the long-term fix. I know that I've been at several meetings over the past few years where storm damage, et cetera, the commission has allowed items like this done under an RDA as long as they're minor in nature. I feel that this is very minor in nature since it would be minimal amount of riprap on an existing riprap area, knowing that we'll be back in front of you with a notice of intent very shortly for the long-term fix. So I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
So, obviously, you just stated, short-term repair with a longer-term, more permanent, better repair coming. The riprap that you intend to put in place, you're not going to really excavate, you're just going to put it on top of what's there to stabilize temporarily.
Exactly.
How long do you think?
Well, DEP with
Spring?
Chapter 91, no, probably not. DEP Chapter 91 has been taking their full 276 days plus.
Oh.
I actually passed that with a current one for a pier that we're doing in a local town. And you call and they just tell you that they're backed up. And I believe them. You know, they've got a lot in front of them.
So you're looking at next fall before you even...
That's what we're hoping. And maybe not, I mean, you've got to look at the water conditions and everything else. So we might even be looking at the fall and spring.
So this is actually a really good intentions repair, no one...
Oh, no,
you may not be able to do something for almost a year.
I try to be very upfront with my clients about Chapter 91. You know, they've made some strides. If they do determine that it can be done under what they're now called general permit, that's an expedited permit, but again, even their expedited permits take a long time. So with any luck, maybe we can do a general permit and expedite it. If not, if it's one of their regular permits, it's going to take 9 months plus.
And you got to hope for low water.
Oh, well, that's exactly it. You don't want to, right, like this fall, the water was higher than most falls.
Yep.
And so you try to pick a time of year where you're not pumping, minimal pumping, to de-water, put that stone footing in.
Right, which obviously, that's not even on tonight's
No.
docket. That's
No, but this is the first.
entirely different.
This
Yeah,
is
because
the
I don't
first
want
good
to
phase.
confuse that with what you're doing here, which is very temporary and
Exactly. It's
probably
just-
important.
It's probably for a year or two is the hope. And again, I expect in the coming months, I'll be back in front of you with a wall, knowing that the process for the wall through here is quick compared to when it goes to the state level for the permitting. They have public comment periods, public review. There's just mandated times that can't be sped up.
So, I mean, we're looking at what looks like a cut-down tree with some roots exposed in the photo you have. Obviously, they're concerned about losing more of the yard.
Yep.
Is there lawn beyond that point, or is it?
Yeah, it's basically from the riprap up to the house is lawn.
Okay.
But they have a deck that's actually really close. You can walk if you're right enough in between the riprap and the deck, which I did. I took some pictures. There's trees right in that area. Yep.
So this set of stairs here with the handrail is the set of stairs with a concrete pad that we see in your plan.
That is correct.
So we'd be looking
You're
in this
looking at-
region right there.
You're looking at this side right here. Over in here is not quite as bad, but there is some area with some undermining going on between the riprap itself. And I think the problem, part of the reason for that is the lack of the filter fabric or the different size aggregate. When you have just large aggregate and water gets in.
A lot of flow through.
Yeah, they can be a lot of flow through. So over time, that happens. I think with the long-term solution between the blocks, the stone, and the fabric, I think we'll have a 50-year fix.
But you're not looking to do everything on the whole shoreline, you're looking just
Well,
in a
that's a-
localized area?
No, I think we're looking for the whole
Whole
shoreline.
thing, okay.
When we come back, but that's not, again, that's not now.
No, that's what I'm saying, it's for the riprap repair. I just see either side of the stairs is really called out. Is that really what you're looking for now? It's just
Right on the sides of those stairs.
two localized areas?
The rest of it seemed pretty stable to me.
Well, looking at this picture though, Mark, I mean, right next to the stairs is a bare area,
Beach area?
beach, which doesn't show here. It shows this whole thing to be rip-wrapped as under existing conditions. So when I look at this picture, I say, well, that doesn't match this. That's the first thing. The second thing is, you already would have had to get a Chapter 91 for this structure because you're below mean high water. So they do allow you to do maintenance under the Chapter 91 program, so you don't need a permit for that. And number three, I've got some concerns about when you say minor work. I mean, there's no detail on this plan that says where, how much, how big the stones are gonna be, how you're gonna get the equipment there. You also have, this is part of the natural heritage area. So you'll have to go before them because that's an alteration. It's also flood zone, so you're gonna be putting stone in a flood zone. I mean, I'm concerned about this going forward without more detail.
And it's noted that it's not an ACEC area. I'm surprised to hear
Lakeville
that.
doesn't have a name.
Doesn't have anything. It's all on the middle door part over there.
The whole thing is riprap.
I thought it was concrete.
I know.
Looking at it from
Yeah.
a distance. I haven't been down.
So, yeah, I took a look at it today, and there's a wall there, and it is in tough shape. I mean, frankly, you know, the erosion is occurring, you know, where there is no stone. So that's not, I mean, that's a whole new wall over there. So you're expanding it, frankly, if you were going to add stone there.
You know, We're not looking to expand the wall. What's happened is over the years, the ice and waters have pushed up, receded, and that bankment has kind of fallen apart, as you can see by the.
Well, the ice scours it.
It
Right.
does, it pushes it, it
Yeah.
moves it. The owner of the property passed away, the children inherited the property. You can see that it's in an estate. The daughter is actually moving forward with trying to protect and secure the property. She's now obtained ownership to it.
Okay, because there's only one applicant, Anne Marie Burke of
Yeah,
Elk
and
Grove, California, so.
She's the daughter of the previous owner who's passed away. And I think you're gonna find them all with about, Joe, you could probably give me a better number, but I'd say at least half of the walls and stabilizations on Long Pond have not been Chapter 91 ever.
Yeah.
Maybe more. I've been up to the Boston DEP office to research it. It's sad how few. So what I find happens in these cases is we go in, we stabilize whatever needs to be stabilized, and I start the permitting with DEP. and we work through it to then get them a license. Same things in Freetown, where.
Yeah, I'm not concerned about Freetown. I'm just concerned, like I said, that there are some details here that are missing. You know, I don't know where the stones are gonna go. This picture does not match this. You know, mine or in your mind could be significant in my mind. I mean, there's just no detail. And it's in a flood zone and it's in a natural heritage area. I mean,
I'm almost willing to say, save your money,
yeah,
not even do this.
Right.
And put
Come
it
in-
towards engineering and planning for a permanent thing. I mean, it's not like the building's being washed out or anything
Right.
like that. Now, you give an elevation, the only elevation I see is the top, upper boundary of bank is 54. Well, what are we assuming as a boundary?
upper boundary of bank. Where'd you get that? Is that just the, yeah.
Yeah,
On
it's
the
54.
left.
Yeah, but
Lot
where
line.
did that number come from, Jamie?
This is 50, over 57.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right
because,
here.
right.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
Isn't that standard pond level or something, or mean?
Yeah, what is pond level?
pond level is whatever the dams are kept at.
But it-
But they try to average 53.5 was, I believe, the long-term goal when they met. They keep a posting, or they had been.
I remember where
But
one
it
time
won't
you
go
had
to 54 or more sometimes.
Oh, it can absolutely
Oh,
go.
yeah.
I mean,
That was still
57,
proposed.
2 is the flood, 100-year flood, if you've seen it.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it was recorded.
And this says
What we looked at.
temporarily enhanced in areas of additional riprap.
Yeah, that's the only part that we're looking to put some riprap. It's probably an area that's 5 by 10,
So,
2 areas.
if,
Okay.
could you show on this photo, I mean, I'm looking at clearly a cliff of,
Yeah.
when I say cliff, this is clearly undermined, some of it probably doesn't show beyond. Are you looking to just fill in?
Fill in right in here where you can see some exposed soil now that the rock has kind of caved in, whether it's underneath or in the front here. And this is starting to collapse. You can see this was sticking straight up. Now it's
This-
collapsed over. Yep. And it came right out over to the stairs. What happens is the dirt and everything gets washed out underneath. Finally, it just
So,
crashes in.
So I think Lenore's concern is, I'm assuming this might be a property line or close to, where this tree line is over here.
It's a little bit beyond it, but yep.
And again, what she's saying is there's no stabilization that we can see here. You're saying
Right.
that it may have washed away or it did wash away. I mean, you're not proposing a wall, you are proposing to stabilize. Is there a minimization of how much? Because, and I
Right.
understand her point too, that, you know, there are no lines on your photo. The water is out here. The photo makes the water look somewhere like it's out here.
right, it
but-
shows all this riprap, which there isn't any
I
there.
didn't even really notice the wall, the water, I'm sorry. Well, the riprap does, it continues to run down. You can see it actually goes beyond the property line. This is the Towner's
But
site.
if the stairs are here, and the stairs are here, it shows that this whole thing is riprapped. Are you
This is-
saying?
This is concrete right in here, and there's stone underneath.
Well, it's totally different from what it shows here. This shows a elevation of 56, 55, 56.
No, this one's 55, and that's
55.
54.
Okay, and then it goes up to 56.
And this pulls in,
So
so you
where,
can,
where's the concrete?
I see it. Your concrete area would be somewhere in this vicinity in here.
This is very close to the boat launch, right? Can't be very far
I
away.
mean, Captain Bumps.
No, the Freetown
Oh,
boat
no, yeah,
launch
this is on the county roadside.
is on the county
Yeah.
roadside, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right at the very end of Pine Haven.
Okay.
Which is why they have that long
Yeah.
driveway.
Correct,
I
yeah.
know where
And that's
that
not
is
even off the
as well.
county.
Yeah.
Pine
That
Haven.
Pine Haven
I
comes,
know.
yeah.
I mean, the wall is in tough shape, but
Yeah.
I'm just concerned that, temporary enhancement, it's like, what does that mean? It's like, how many, what's the detail here? I mean, you have these arrows, but it's like, well,
Well, this is something that's not enough of an emergency that you even consider an emergency cert, so I'd say save your money for the real thing.
yeah, and you do have to go before natural heritage. Do you really want to go through them twice? You're in a flood zone, how much fill are you bringing in? Is it gonna be something that requires compensation?
So Natural Heritage's jurisdiction is actually, well, again, I know where the lines go. When I filed with them for on the pond, the protected species, the bridal shrine, are in the water. It's the
Yeah.
freshwater minnow.
Right.
We'd be working out of the water at the top where you can see there's some issue. Typically, when we send it into them, they'll send me my check back and tell me that we're not even jurisdictional.
Well, that's fine,
But
they
I
can do
get-
that.
On the flip side, the small amount of rock, riprap, they could have just done it. Yeah, I mean, just like anybody could. We're talking about a pickup size full of truck, a truck full of riprap.
So 40 yards of material?
40
Oh,
yards.
God, no.
That's-
Okay.
That's a tractor trailer. and a
No,
half.
that's a small,
No,
yeah.
a 20,
I know.
a triaxle's 28 yards.
Okay, 28
Not a
yards.
that's a tractor trailer truck is 28 yards. I'm
Axle's
sorry.
20, 18 to 20.
Yeah, a
Okay,
triaxle's
all
20.
right, well, that's, so that,
A pickup truck can go like 3 yards. So I'm thinking.
That's good springs in it.
That'd be great.
yeah, yeah.
So realistically, yeah, it doesn't need. a
You're
ton.
talking about 3 yards.
We're talking a very small amount. They don't want to lose what they have. I've explained to them, once you lose it, you don't get it back.
Is that small amount going to do any good here?
It's not going to hurt.
Does it get that much wave action there?
It's not the wave action, it's the ice action.
It's ice action, the ice
It's the
scouring.
Ice action. Ice is what kills, and that's why we try to use the Ready Rock. When you get that heavy ice on top and it pushes, it rips everything apart.
Yep.
Look what it did to the houses on Staple Shore.
Yeah.
I mean, it was ripping foundations apart.
How are you going to access
We're
this area?
we're only doing up top here, and it's gonna
Yeah.
have to be by hand. We don't plan on having a machine do it.
Oh, no. Oh,
Nothing over
There's
here.
no road or anything?
No, this is a walking path in front of the deck at Bassett. See, these two arrows are the two areas, right alongside here are the
Yeah.
two areas that we're addressing. That's it, we're not touching over here now. When we come back for the chapter 91 and the notice of intent for the next step, they may have to get a crane in to lift those. We'll have a game plan for that, we always do. But that's gonna be coming in the next few months. For right now, we're looking at small areas right in here and right over in here.
It can be done by hand, that changes.
Well, it's absolutely gonna be,
Changes,
yeah, they're not
yes.
gonna bring a machine in for
Yeah,
a
well-
pickup truck worth of material.
Joe, have you been here?
I have not, no.
Yeah, I've seen it.
You look at
What
it
do you
today,
think?
right?
Lenore? Should
Yeah.
we have a site visit?
It's probably a good idea, because I think at a minimum, you should give us some more detail, like the fact that it's gonna be done by hand, it's only gonna be a truckload of material, approximately so many cubic yards, because I just get really nervous when there's no detail and additional, rocks go in. It could turn out, it could easily be misconstrued. So I would like to see some more information, which would give the commission members a chance to go out and take a look at it.
And a lot of this is gonna have to come out for the final construction, right?
It's all gonna have to come out. Yeah.
But again, that's not even on the table right
Right,
now.
right, yeah.
That's a second filing.
Right.
Yeah, again, the ice that we have now, this is, with the frost over the winter and it pushing, like it has in years past, that's what we're trying to avoid, is the loss of any more land, the erosion into the pond. That's why, I mean, realistically, if a site visit's fine, whatever you guys wanna do to make,
I agree with you, Joe. I mean, it just seems like, why do we do, but you filed the request, you have every right to ask that question. It just seems like, do it once, but that's up to you and your client, but.
Well, I think his point is, when you do this again, you're talking about a much more extensive retaining wall
oh, yeah.
Sure.
with excavation and silt
Yeah.
fence
Sure.
and
Structure
machines
stand.
coming in
Yeah.
and doing this.
Yeah,
This is literally something that the client, could do themselves. They could bring in some rock and they could do it. Her brother's on DEM in Rhode Island, and he's the one that said, get this thing permitted right. And I completely agree with it, so. Again, if you want detail, we can try to quantify it.
Yes.
I can look at volumes.
Yeah, I mean, I look at this and say that, they are making a good effort to come in, as I
Yeah.
think you stated, you could have probably done this without asking.
well, that's true, but here we are.
Right, and I'm agreeing with him doing that. I'm just, I don't think our attitude should be just let it wait a year if he's willing to do some stabilization. But I also agree with, if you want to go out and look and have some agreed
Quantify.
boundaries and
Yes.
parameters of where this
Yes.
is going, that's fine too.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be a long drawn out process for what does seem like
Right.
upfront effort to do it right.
I agree, and I would just like to see some more detail. And you will have to contact Natural Heritage. That would be something I would suggest we
I
put
guess,
in.
would it help if he turned in a plan that maybe had like a colored hatch mark of where the actual work was going to be?
Sure, and with some, detail,
I
the
mean,
fact that
does that
it's...
make sense to you, Jamie, to say this is
By
where, and
hand,
just green
yeah.
hatch marks, or you pick the color? I mean,
Yeah.
That's not a problem. Yeah, I mean,
That would just
I like
say,
purple.
these two specific areas you're showing the whole shoreline, and just try to localize the actual.
My two arrows are kind of pointing at the.
Yeah,
The arrow on either side of that walk, yeah.
On the two sides of the walk, because that's
Yeah.
where the issue is.
Yep.
There's one on each side. But again, I have no problem with the commission's request to do that. That doesn't bother me at all.
What is this metal barrel filled with concrete with the pipe sticking out? What did that used to
I
be?
know.
It was standing up straight.
That was, I assumed it was.
Before, yeah, before.
That's where you tie up your boat.
Yeah.
Is that where you tied the boat?
Oh,
Yeah.
I
And
was
again,
wondering what that was.
so they, as kids, they saw this and they're seeing it deteriorate and they
Yeah.
want to stop the deterioration and fix it. And I applaud them for it, I think that's great. Again, when you,
They're in California.
well, she is, but the rest of the family's not.
So this is, it said Connecticut, didn't it?
Well, she just moved from Connecticut to California
Oh, okay.
in the past couple of months.
Okay.
And yeah, she was out here 3 weeks ago, whenever she signed the request.
Okay.
That's a long drive. So what's the significance of stoned slope?
Well,
It doesn't, no, I'm not being serious.
No, but yeah, it's different than just a grass slope or any other type of, it's not Gabion baskets or anything like that. We've worked with many different kinds and proposed many. So just stone, it's random stone. Some of it's chunks of concrete, most of it's just natural stone. Riprap, you'll know, is very angular. We're just gonna put it on a block cinwell, and again, it's for the short-term stabilization.
It just sounds funny.
I agree. I agree.
Okay, what's the commission's pleasure?
Well, I'll make a motion that we close the hearing and issue a negative decision with the caveat that you file with National Heritage and a more detailed plan showing the area on either side.
Specific work.
Specific work to be done.
Okay.
And approximate amount of material to be brought in.
Yes, that's gonna be very small.
That cover it?
I second the motion.
Okay. Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Start tomorrow.
Thank you, Jamie. Yeah, stick that with the file. You wanna put the-
You want your notice back?
Yeah, do you
Thank
mind?
you.
No, not at all,
I scanned it in anyway.
just in case.
Thank you.
Let me get that determination so we can just sign it. Okay, you guys, and I'll fill it out,
Prior
okay?
to the revised plan? I should probably trade you the revised.
I just want their signatures,
Oh, I got you.
because then I can revise the form. As long as I have the signatures, then it doesn't have to wait till the next meeting to collect signatures.
Yeah, I'll bring you in something.
When you revise it, will we owe money? Is that what happens with a revision? Just sign this blank form. Leave a credit
Oh,
card.
I'd be happy, don't tempt me. All right.
You also.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, this is for Anne Marie Burke, Elk Grove. Okay. So here's the signature page, if you guys would sign it, that way it gets issued a lot. And Joe, I'm gonna come in later this week, so I won't ask you to drop the stuff off.
Okay.
All right? Usually I say, Joe, can you bring these into town hall? I'll just,
And the thing is, I'm gonna be spending a lot of time at New Wellesley Hospital with my wife who's having the knee operation, so.
okay.
Starting Thursday.
Okay.
Having the second
Oh, boy.
one done.
Oh,
Well, the first one was a piece of cake.
The second one?
When you do the first one, you always start with the left leg. That
Really?
way you can still drive.
I was just practicing.
Oh.
Now she's having the right one done, so,
poor
you know,
thing, huh?
chief cook and bottle washer and dog washer here.
Put a note on that, 5-member board, 3-member quorum. Or just don't worry about it.
Put it in the minutes, you mean?
Thank you.
Or just on
On
the
the-
signature.
Speaking of chapter 91 permits,
minutes.
Yeah.
for 40 years, I
Yeah.
have been complaining, and I don't understand why they don't do it. Chapter 91 permits are different from
Probably be good,
DEP.
just
Yes,
to
they
have
are.
as a public record that we were, because we haven't
Every
received those
dog
letters. It's
in
just-
Pia should have a
I think,
permanent
like I said, it's just a
metallic
paperwork
number.
gap For them to.
both on the
Just
water
documented
and out
knowledge
front
of their
on the
absence,
road,
but
so
we-
you can
we received the
tell
letter.
It's been
whether it's been
permitted.
We're
permitted or
acting as
not.
if
I
I have the
don't
board.
understand
Yeah.
why they've never done this.
Yeah, it's not in the regulations, that's why, but that's a good idea.
And even if they use roll in and roll out piers, so, you know, there's always something up there you can put
Right, yeah,
a
look at,
number on, you
right.
know?
That's a good idea, Jim.
Never, I've suggested it a number of times and never gotten anywhere. You know,
No
and they're
surprise.
they're so strict about putting up the signs when you're doing any
Oh,
work, you know?
Okay,
What else do we got?
next.
Next is another RDA, this time for Mark Twain Drive.
Yes, Mr. Maxwell,
Yes,
you submitted a photograph, do you want to come up and, it's not a photograph, you submitted a description from your,
from the arborist.
from the arborist,
Yeah, you got a
right?
bunch of trees you want to take down, right?
Where is that?
Well,
Yeah.
Four?
yeah.
Leave the stumps intact, right? Stumps and roots intact. Yep,
You want to pay for that anyway.
yep, yep.
Oh, we want to,
Yeah, I've got four
I think he's got it.
white pines.
And they're headed for your house, right?
Yeah, it's a,
Well,
yeah,
they're
I saw the
between 70 and
newspaper
80
thing.
feet tall, and they're 15 to 20 feet away from the home. And we've got a new home we just built 5 years ago, and over those 5 years, we've lost 2 trees already, not near the house. One was a white pine, one was what we thought was a healthy oak, and that's something we've got to clean
Yeah,
up
yeah.
also.
Right, before we continue, do you have a copy of the notice with you?
I do,
May I borrow
and
it?
it was in the same paper as the previous one.
Oh, well, he took it.
oh,
Well, I plan on taking mine too.
I'll give it back to you, I promise. I'm good for it.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to note on this picture, he's got these are
yeah,
pine trees.
Right.
Okay.
And I just stopped down there this afternoon while I still had daylight. And what I want to point out is there are still 9 trees
All right.
that are on the shoreline closer to the water than these white pines. So, you know, they're not clearing off that.
well, those are the only 4 that are right along the shoreline. I mean, there are trees, you know, all over the place,
No,
but,
no, there are 4 closer to the water line. I stopped down there this afternoon. There's like,
they're not as big as those.
well, the elm tree, this one he's gonna prune,
Right,
is as big as these.
sorry, yeah.
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 And there's one white pine that's right on the shoreline. The trunk is bigger than any of these. It's not as tall. And I think maybe the top of that went off
How's that?
at some point. Excuse me?
Sorry,
Is that it?
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Let's
Yeah.
formally
Make it
open this up.
official, right?
Yeah.
According to the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40,
No, that's
Wetlands
not your
Protection
property?
Act,
No, it's a red.
there will be a hearing on a request for determination of applicability filed by Marcia and Douglas Maxwell. Said filing is to determine whether removal of trees within the buffer zone to a pond requires a notice of intent. Property address where said work is proposed is identified as 4 Mark Twain Drive in Lakeville. Hearing will be held on January 22nd at the Council of Aging Building.
Okay,
Good evening.
thank you. It's just a formality,
Just a
we have to
formality.
read
I'm sorry.
that. Yeah, no worries.
I've got the DEP stamp also. Do you need to see
Nope.
that?
Nope.
Okay.
No.
We're good.
I did look at the property. My concern was that those 4 pines, they are right on the shoreline. They are not going to be stumped, but like we saw in the last photographs, when you cut them down, the stumps will decay. That will lead to some failure of the bank and some erosion. They certainly are functioning, those trees, in terms of protecting the bank, and they're nice perching areas for any kind of birds that might like to fish from the shoreline there. So, I mean, I know that your arborist has, you know, identified them as a threat to the house, and I understand that. They are functioning, though, in terms of their protection of the resource area and the habitat there. So I do have some concerns about removing those 4 trees. The other ones, no problem, they're dead and they need to be pruned, and they're off the shoreline there. So that was just my general concern was that, you know, losing the trees leads to losing the bank, like we just saw in the previous filing, and, you know, that too poses a threat to your property. So with that understanding, if the commission opts to allow you to go forward, just recognize that you're not doing the property any favors by taking those trees down.
No, I understand the concern, but there, as I said, there still are trees that are closer to the,
the whole shoreline at one point was vegetated, right? The more trees we take down, the less vegetation,
Oh, absolutely.
yeah. So it's a loss of habitat.
Do you get a lot of wave action there?
there is
Some
some.
of these trees are dead, right?
The four pines are not.
They're not.
No, the four pines are the live trees that are coming down,
Okay.
They're top heavy.
top heavy.
Yeah, the white pines, there's no branches down there,
Oh.
weights up top. That's
Right.
why they snap.
That's why they snap 30 feet up,
Right.
and they look fine until the instant the top snaps off.
Right.
That's two of the
That's-
trees we've got to get cleared.
Yep.
Because they snap like 20 feet in the air.
Yep.
So my only concern would be loss of habitat, and I don't know whether you'd consider replanting something there that might be more suitable, something smaller growing, something that, provides some habitat protection. That's just my comments to the commission, that those would be my concerns with going
Some
forward with this.
low-growing stuff?
Yeah.
Just because bank stabilization is what you want. The minute the vegetation is removed, the minute the roots start decaying, you get, these pouring rains, like we're supposed to get on Thursday.
Right,
Boy,
right.
can soil disappear real fast.
Right. So that's just, for the commission to consider in their determination.
Well, I can agree with both sides of it. He's the taxpayer in town, and he wants to do something on his property. But I also, if you could agree to put some low-growing native species that didn't, I'm sure to some extent you may gain some view, and you don't want to harm that view, put something low that's gonna retain the soil. That would be great.
And the arborist, I'm sure, could come up with a plan or, make some suggestions as to what would be suitable in that area. I could certainly do that, make some suggestions, but it may be something you like or don't like, and your arborist may be a better person if that is the commission's
And by the
wish.
time the roots of the stump start decaying, whatever you plant there will have stabilized, and you won't have to worry about, losing the slope, because your lot goes slightly downhill all the way, doesn't it?
Yeah, very
It's not
gradual.
real.
Right, it's
big,
very
but it's
gradual,
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
It flattens out at the bottom.
Yeah. And I'm sure- and you pick up water from further up the road there.
It runs down the road, exactly.
Run down the road, yeah.
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 In fact, the original home was, the flood of 2010 did the original home in.
Yeah,
We actually had that demolished 4 or 5 years later. And then the home we have now, we built. It's not on,
And you went further up the hill when you built that, right?
yeah, we went back some,
Yeah.
yeah, not an awful lot.
no, it's pretty
But
close,
It's not
yeah.
on pontoons, not pontoons.
Pilings,
It's not on pilings.
Pilings, yeah.
But there is no cellar, it's on a foundation, it's elevated 3.5 feet, the foundation is open.
yeah, because right next to the house,
I don't know what you'd call it, construction.
yeah, it's
That type of
slab,
construction.
but right next to the house was an area of wetland, so there's a high water table there,
Yeah.
because, adjacent to the house is
Oh, exactly.
wetlands.
Well, you also
So-
get the tremendous hydraulic pressure from the whole hill going
Yeah.
back up
Right.
to Highland Road.
Right,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
right. Okay, so,
Now the growth, could that be, that could be some type of ground cover, correct?
Yes?
yeah, sure,
Oh,
ground
absolutely.
cover would be
That's
great.
what would be ideal,
Yeah.
something, you don't want to lose the view with
Right,
bushes or
right.
shrubs or something like that.
Right, you could put some low-growing yews in there,
Oh,
or,
absolutely.
low bush blueberry would be really nice too, because that has some habitat value, you got the berries, and it provides stabilization to the shoreline there, so,
Absolutely.
yeah, so,
Yeah. I mean, it's all stone front, we don't swim in front, we don't have a beach. There is a small beach off to the right.
right, I did see that, yeah,
No.
yeah, yeah,
There's all stone across the front
right,
of the property.
right.
You see Mark busily scribbling away there.
Do we have any suggestion or parameter as far as a quantity of, or proximity to the trees taken down for any ground cover, anything like that?
I would want them replaced 1-to-1, so that taken 4 trees down, put 4, shrubs or 4 plants out and,
Or basically cover the area that's,
Yeah, but
the
you
trees we cut
couldn't
down.
because of the roots.
because of roots, yeah.
So you're gonna have to reload,
Well, it's to his benefit to make sure it gets done.
Absolutely.
He wants the bank
Right,
stabilized.
Right.
When do you plan on doing the work? Trees now and then
Oh, yeah.
planting in the spring? Or are you gonna wait until?
Yeah, whenever they can come and do the trees. These guys are busy year-round, you probably know that.
Oh, yeah, yeah. My neighbor just had trees cut down. He said they scheduled them for 16 weeks and they were at about 18 by the time
Yeah.
that,
I mean, once we get approval, if we get approval, then we get on his list. That's all I can tell you. And he's already said he would not bring a crane in there. They would climb the trees.
Not me.
Yeah.
well, crane's not bad either because they just pluck them right out of there.
No, I understand, but he's concerned about the wetlands. It's
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
It's gonna sink.
It's a low water table.
Yeah, yeah.
In fact, on the news 2-3 nights ago, there was a big tree crane.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I looked at the picture and all 4 outriggers were out as far as possible.
Yeah.
Somebody did something wrong.
Yeah.
Ouchie.
Okay, can I make a motion?
Yeah, absolutely.
Make a motion to close the hearing and issue negative determination for the RDA for Mark Twain Drive for the removal of trees as proposed, subject to the replanting of some ground cover or low-growth native species in replacement of the trees on a 1-to-1 basis.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You're good.
Excellent, thank you, very good.
Thanks for coming in.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Now, what do I need to do?
Wait until, I'm gonna go back to the office tomorrow, prepare your determination. The secretary will send it out, certified mail, so you'll get it. You do have to wait the 10 business day appeal period, just in case anybody decides to appeal it. Very unlikely, but you do have to wait that appeal period, so 10 business days, and then you're good to go.
Well, thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Call your logger tomorrow.
Yeah, right, put you on the go
On the
list.
list.
Yeah.
Speaking of loggers, on 105, right at the Middleborough Lakeville line.
Yep,
You see all the trees they cut?
yep. I sat down with Nate and we went on the computer. First of all, as I was saying to Jamie, I was astonished to discover that that's Lakeville.
Yeah.
I just assumed.
I didn't think so until
I assumed it was Middleborough. We went online, it's Lakeville. That has been horribly urbanized when they built that whole triple-decker bridge, 60 years ago. It drops off this a goodly amount of wetland quite a ways back.
That was my concern,
Yeah.
because we went and looked at it when they built those apartment buildings.
Right.
And I wasn't sure where it was
Right.
in proximity.
Yeah.
Do you know what we're talking
No,
about?
I don't.
Yeah, 105.
105, okay.
As
to
you're going into
Middleborough.
Middleborough on the right-hand side, right where the town
Just
line
past the
is.
train station.
Past the train station?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's still Lakeville? So you're headed towards the overpass, 495
yeah,
overpass?
yeah. Nope.
And on the right or the left?
Right.
Right.
On the right.
Oh, where that old farm was?
Yep.
They
No,
took down.
the farm's on the other side of,
Oh, no, that's,
No.
that Achenback Farm.
Achenback
is-
Farm.
is
Yeah,
on-
Just before the entrance to Aiken Back, where they used to go in,
yeah.
Okay.
but after the bank.
Yep.
After the bank?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's any wetlands there, but
Well, it is as you go,
Further back.
Yeah.
Okay.
and I just wasn't sure how far you had to go, but you don't.
Quite a ways, yeah. And they're nowhere even near the buffer zone.
Okay, I can take a look at that.
And what did Jamie say? Jamie, in fact, I emailed Jamie and said, what's happening across the street?
from him,
And
yeah.
his response was, beats me. He didn't know.
Yeah.
It's Outback that's done the
Oh.
engineering we found out
Backyard.
a couple days ago. It struck me as a weird place to put anything. Think of the traffic congestion.
Yeah. I
And
would-
Jamie said tonight, he heard there was a rumor there was a car wash going in there.
A car wash?
You need a curb cut for that too, right?
You need a
105?
curb cut, I mean,
Yeah.
already the traffic in that area,
Right.
is just,
Well, we'll see.
the best free entertainment in town. Park in.
Right here.
Park in the Conway parking lot, the real estate parking lot.
Right.
Aim your car out and watch newbies try to figure how to get into the Shell station.
I know, it's terrible. I don't use, I agree with you. It's
They go
bad.
in, the out, they go round in circles, they stop dead, they cross triple yellow lines. You just,
I've done it a
agree.
couple of times. I drove in and I'm looking around and saying, I'm
Yeah,
not supposed
Joe-
to be going this way.
Joe was watching.
it's unbelievable. I followed a young couple from New York in about a week ago, and I pulled them, we both pulled them in, I said, what do you think of that? And they're going, who designed this? Just,
Yeah. Boy.
talk to the hand.
Okay, so we got
What's left?
a certificate of compliance, did I put that on
Oh,
there?
yeah, 52 and 56
Yes.
County Street.
Yes, I looked at it today, it's right down on County Street. It is the storage facility,
Yeah.
and it looks great.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
wetland on one side, there's a nice slope that's all been vegetated. It's
Yeah.
lawn, but it's
Yeah. Is
Is
vegetated.
this the portion that they just rebuilt, or they're adding on to?
No, it was a
No.
notice of intent to construct that whole facility there, that
All the paths.
storage,
Yeah.
whatever it's called.
Right, but he was in the process of adding a couple buildings. They had done the pavement, the foundations quite a while ago. They
Oh,
just
yeah,
started
all the
construction.
buildings are up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So, but they had all the landscaping and the stabilization done before they even
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
put the first piece of steel up.
Yep.
So it looks fine to me. I
That was
don't,
Outback, I think, right?
they submitted the as-built, yeah. So, the commission's pleasure is,
Motion to approve the certificate of compliance for 152, 156 County Street.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
great. I have a signature page, we'll get that out.
If that isn't, where did I, there's someone else building a 3-story storage facility in Lakeville. Where did I see that was gonna go?
Is it down in the industrial area? 'Cause where
No,
else would you
no,
put
I
it?
don't think so.
3 stories.
Three
Good luck to
stories.
those people, huh?
Well, thing is, it's cheaper to go up than out.
Oh, right.
You don't need this big piece of land.
True that.
And your heating and cooling costs are saved and so
Yeah,
forth.
right, right.
But that isn't an indicator of what's wrong with our society. You have to
Need a
pay
Joe
people to
signature on
rent
that one.
space to store your stuff?
Joe.
Good Lord.
Get a pen.
Yep.
All right, 2 things left. Well, actually, just really one. Oh, Joe, I didn't bring your calendar again. I don't know, what happened to the email? Could you please email me that calendar for 2019?
Okay.
I lost it. It's just not, I looked in the delete, I looked everywhere. I'm like, where is it?
Laurie's got the modified one.
Okay.
She can just,
Okay.
if you go in the office tomorrow,
Yeah.
have her print one out for
Are
you.
they all the second and the fourth Tuesdays of the month?
I don't think there's any exceptions.
I believe they are. There's only one meeting in December because there's no way of getting one in one day before Christmas.
That's right, it falls on a Christmas
Which would be
Eve.
our second meeting,
Which would be our second meeting.
which is sort of sometimes,
Right,
Let's schedule it.
right, yeah. And what I wanted to do is print that up again, make sure everyone gets a copy of it.
Okay.
And make sure we have updated contact information for everyone.
Okay. Okay, I'll get that for next meeting, I promise.
And I heard you mention to Lenore, you have a candidate for us?
yeah, I just emailed you the letter of interest to everybody.
Okay, all right, I didn't see it before I left
That's
the
the letter
office.
that went to
but-
the selectmen. So if you want to
Okay.
review it, and I would invite him if you want to
Yeah.
put it on the agenda for the
Sure.
first meeting in February.
Right, yeah, before we forget. Can we ratify the enforcement order for Mr. Pusateri?
Any update on that?
Nothing.
He hasn't picked it up.
He hasn't even picked it up. After our last meeting, we did vote to issue it. I did prepare it the following week and issued it. It says basically the same thing that the other one said, with the addition of language that says you didn't comply with the first enforcement order, which was issued August 22nd of 2018. So it still asks for the restoration plan, it still asks for a cease and desist. It's just the only addition is, we did issue an enforcement order back in August, you haven't complied with it, there's a second, so.
And that's all CC'd to DEP.
That's right. Did I put a date in here? I said the restoration plan, the plan is required to be submitted within 30 days of this enforcement order, so he does have a time frame to do
So
that.
that was sent to him at his house address,
Yes.
has been picked up.
As of today, Lori did not get the green card back, so. The only thing we're missing if you folks agree with that, we need to ratify it. So it just takes a vote to say
Let's
that
just do it.
it's ratified and it's valid, basically.
All in favor of ratifying?
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, done. And then the only other thing I have is this, Mass Association of Concoms has invited you all to their annual meeting, which is going to be on March 2nd, and there's a sign-up sheet if you want to attend.
Holy Ross?
Yep, Holy Cross, so I don't know if anybody's interested in the agenda. You know, I have it, I can email it to you.
Well,
But it is something
We get
that-
these, I get all that email.
Okay. Okay, you guys all get it, yeah, because
Yeah.
you're all members, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
You want that list, Josh?
Yeah, I got their email.
Yeah.
Okay, good. It's
I don't
always a
know.
snowy, rainy day, or
Yeah.
Holy Cross is so slippery and.
Oh,
it's-
getting up the
it's-
hills there.
It's, I've been a few times, and
Because
they always have good speakers,
One of my
but,
colleges was on the other side of town, Assumption College. And Worcester's, is like Rome, the city of 7 hills.
Oh, my God.
You're going up a hill or down a hill
I don't know-
all the
I
time.
don't
And
know
it's
why.
always winter there.
it's always winter, and it's always a snowstorm.
Storm.
It's terrible. I love to go, but I'm like,
In fact,
oh.
every time they show the weather, I always look at Worcester, having spent some time there, I'm going,
Yeah.
those poor people, oh my God.
I lived
Just-
there for a short period.
Well, the
and it
difference
was terrible.
between our house in Wareham and our house in Lakeville.
Oh, yeah.
Wareham, we didn't have a single flake of snow this last time.
Yeah, right, right.
And
yeah.
then I say, I think I'm gonna head back to Lakeville and
Check it out.
Check it out. I already had the plow on the plow truck, sure enough.
Yeah,
Because if
yeah.
you didn't get rid of that stuff.
Oh, it's like concrete. Yeah.
But now, 55 degrees
Yep.
on Wednesday?
Yeah, tomorrow 40s,
Well,
yeah,
and
tomorrow 40s, the next day close.
And then tons of rain, so make sure your storm drains are clear.
I take a motion to adjourn?
Why don't we?
Oh, wait, no.
When's our next meeting? Now that we're talking calendars, because last time we didn't schedule a next meeting, so I just want to make sure that we do
So-
schedule one.
Our normally next scheduled meeting should be on February 12th.
12th.
7 PM here at the senior center.
2 days
Okay.
before Valentine's Day.
Okay, all right, just because I do have some stuff that's going to come up, so as long as we know we're on for that night. Okay, great.
Motion to adjourn.
All in
Second.
favor? Aye.
Aye.
All in favor?